All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Troward's teaching in condensed form. From Thomas Troward, Intimate Memoir of the Teacher and the Man by Harry Gaze. 1. First of all, Judge Troward teaches that there are higher and deeper definitions of spirit and so-called matter. Life's intelligence and life's livingness are one. Spirit's essential quality is thought, and form is the quality of matter. 2. The form we see extends in space, and its borders are of a limited nature. Thought, on the other hand, is not limited by boundaries, and is everywhere, or to quote Troward, at every point of space simultaneously. Spirit is thought, and equally present everywhere. As we increase our perception and awareness, this higher development controls lesser developed intelligence. The distinction between universal intelligence and individual intelligence concerns the will of the individual. The work of new thought is to learn to know the relations of our will to the universal will. Developing the power of abstract reasoning, we grow to see the truth of the principle of evolution. This is now reaching the higher stage of evolution, which Troward describes as intelligent, individual evolution. Up to this time we have evolved unconsciously. Now we become interested and participate in evolution from this time forward. Though from the standpoint of the 5 physical senses there seems to be a definite line of separation between things, there is always a fundamental unity. The basic principle of the new thought is that there is just one power. It is possible for us to use our intelligence and volition to condense spirit into any point, anywhere, any time, and individualize or specialize it as we desire. Troward, like Hudson, taught the control of the subjective by the objective mind. Today we would express this modern vocabulary by saying the control of the subconscious mind by the power of the conscious mind. The subjective mind has remarkable psychic powers, telepathy or thought reading, clairvoyance or clear seeing, independent of time and space. The subjective mind knows infinitely more about the conditions under which disease develops and can accurately diagnose and excel the most intelligent and skillful doctors and reveal the true and perfect remedy. The subjective mind is the chemist and the builder of the body. Because of its amenability to thought patterns, it will manufacture the desired chemistry and build the personality that we learn to impress upon it. Before this knowledge has fully developed in the mind and secured adequate realization, wisely selected medicine will serve a good purpose. On the other hand, when we have trained our minds and learned to coordinate these spheres of the one mind, we will have discovered the true fountain of everlasting life. We must think of the mind as such a fountain of perpetual livingness and health. Judge Troward taught that the individual subjective mind, or subconscious mind, is our share of the universal mind. As universal mind, the cosmic mind does not, in itself, work on the individual plane. But when we are working for some definite purpose, we are using the power of the universal mind to do so. To control conditions, we must learn to control the relative by the absolute. To control conditions, we must learn to control the relative by the absolute. The first step in making any attainment or securing any good is to construct a spiritual prototype, archetypal idea, or mental equivalent. This, if faithfully practiced, will come into the practical world of visible form and use. These correspondences, or prototypes, must be good and constructive, for the law will work out for the manifestation of the undesirable as well as the desirable. Each seed will bring forth after its kind. The desirable thoughts of health and healing, or success and prosperity, can be aided by the trained power of imagination and visualization. Judge Troward carefully explained how the universal mind does not have a self-recognition of personality in itself, yet must have the quality of personalness, or we could not be centers of personal intelligence. He made a distinction between personality and individuality. The infinite, underlying, all-producing mind is ready immediately to respond to all who realize their true relation to it. Troward emphasizes the wonderful power of deep, heartfelt feeling. The whole position, summed up, is that we do not want to run the whole universe, but draw particular results of a happy nature, spiritual, mental, physical, social. In regard to your own individual requirements, face the universal subjective power and make up its mind for it. When its mind is thus made up, it continues to exercise its creative power and sets to work to carry out the purpose for which you have concentrated it. Carefully distinguish between the universal first cause on the one hand and secondary causes on the other. The underlying and use, the understanding and use of this power is the whole subject of mental science. A condition, whether positive or negative, is never primary cause, and the primary cause of any series can never be negative, for negation is the condition which arises from the absence of active causation. It will be seen that all error or inharmony is typified by darkness. You do not have to turn out the darkness. You simply turn on the light, for where there is light, there is no darkness. Secondary causes are mere reflections. Image the desired idea in the realm of the absolute, and you can cheerfully await the desired results. As spirit operates independently of space and time, the work cannot be formed in the future. It must be accomplished here and now. There should be no fearful, anxious thought about the conditions to be replaced with the desirable. You must work, but take no anxious thought. We must not fly in the face of the law by expecting it to do for us what it can only do through us. And we must therefore use our intelligence with the knowledge that it is acting as the instrument of a greater intelligence. Anxiety and toilsome labor will be replaced by states that are a permanent source of all that is good. Intuitive power, by which we perceive truth, is the right path to travel in. For this, we have to be trained in the right way. It is very important to have a real understanding of intuition, and to distinguish real intuition from groundless fears and distorted imagination. Before the conscious or objective mind starts to argue or object, the mind is like the waters of a still lake. With fear, the image is blurred, as when a stone is thrown into the lake. The basic principle of all new thought and mental and spiritual healing is a change of belief from falsity to faith in truth. The wrong belief which externalizes as sickness is the belief that some secondary cause, which is really only a condition, is a primary cause. The healer tells the patient to take a receptive attitude. The healer also relaxes, but for the purpose of flowing out, and the patient relaxes to permit a flowing in. Realize the importance of the will. While imagination is of a creative nature, the will does the work of keeping it to a given path or center. The will guides your faculty of imagination rightly. The power of concentration is not a strenuous proceeding. The law of force is not to be used. From this standpoint, we see that all is life and all is good. Nature is one vast storehouse of life, and good entirely devoted to our individual use. We have the key to all her treasures. Realizing this, we shall draw from it streams of vital energy, which will make the very sensation of livingness a joy. To get into a state of attunement with the universal mind, we should think of ourselves as pure being. We are spiritual beings in a spiritual universe, here and now. We are expressions of the infinite mind, sons of God. We must make a proper identification of ourselves. The conscious mind reasons by all methods of reasoning, but not always correctly. The subconscious reasons deductively only, and its deductions are perfect. That is, they are true to the major premise laid down by the conscious mind.